So, welcome back to Elden Ring. Previously, I stomped the head of the round table in frustration of getting this game to run. And then I fought Godric the First, who then turned into a wrestler, and I took him out as well. So, yay us. So now, we are moving on. Let's activate you. We'll get equip set up for people, so let's do that. Let's try one of these, and then let's try one of those. So this is where the main theme's been hiding. Ooh. Ow. Come on. Whoa, that's coming for me. He missed. Ow. I saw that. Give me a sec. I just need to heal. Okay. I need one. Okay, so first note, I may need to reallocate my resources. Okay. Okay. Damn you! I just took that thing. Yep, definitely gonna have to reallocate resources. Ooh, that was a bad idea. Come on. There you are. Oh, that can't be good for me. Yeah, thought so. Where are you? Oh god, that's bad. Da 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 da. That was a bad time. Not bad. Not bad at all. But given the situation, I think we should run like that. And yep. Get ready for brightness. Ow. Okay. Just curious to how this goes if I do that. Okay. Oh, no, that's bad. That's even worse. Jump too early. Ooh. Okay. So we've got the same amount going into the next fight. But my mimic is stronger. Ow. Could you not? Oh, that's me well and truly done. No. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? That, huh? Mm-hmm. Too early. Perhaps I should have rolled into it. Go on, guys. Ooh. Oh, I may have just used two. Okay. Oh god. I knew that was gonna happen. Okay. Well, this is gonna be in range? Nope. Okay. Ring Donut of Doom. Oh, need to do that. Oop. Oh, oh, that's not good. Okay, so okay. Run away. What is it? Come on. Ooh. Okay. What we need to do... That. Ow. Ow. Okay. How? How am I still alive? Oh, that looks bad. Okay. Uh-huh. Ow. Bad time. Ooh, that's new. Okay. Damn. Okay, let's get on to my heavies stuff. Okay, so you're moving it away. Oh, that's bad. I should be running. Okay, that was worth a shot. Too early? Yep, that was too early. Well, I must remember that. Why can't I use torrent? Run! Keep running. They're incoming. Okay, so how are you meant to counter that? Oh. Best heal. Okay. Here come the laser beams. Why can't you have torrent at this bit? Oh, crap. Oh, that's gonna be after me. I was trying to get out. Oh, that's not good. Ooh. That is bad. Ba, 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 ba. Okay, that's Mimic gone. I wish I could see what was going on. Ooh. Must remember that move. Oh, that's not good. That's really not good. And I think that's where I'm gonna call it for now. I had to know if you could just stand there and zap it. Okay, keep running. Okay. Yep, saw that happening. There you are, sir. That was a bit of luck. And I still got to get close to you. That is doing no damage. Okay. Go, dude. I'm coming. Okay, lock off. Run away. Ow. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. You are still looking at me. Ooh, that's not good. That is also not good. Son of a... You like me, don't you? Yep, you really like me. Hi, monster. No, that's not fun for me. Flailing about. Okay, so that's all my health gone. I'm gonna try something. Uh-oh. Where is that coming down? Now I'm guessing this doesn't work on you. Oh god. Let's run away. Where did you go? There, okay. Ooh. Okay. Okay, that's not good. Holy cow. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Oh shit. Run in a direction. Where are you? Thank you. Ow. Let's use... Ooh, I saw that coming. Ooh. Okay, I best heal. Ow. Ow. Block. Ow. That's not good for me. Ow. Oh. I died in midair. Okay, so one person disappeared. Okay. Okay, let's run behind. This is the part of the fight I hate. Excuse me. I saw that happening. Let's take two, activate that. Run after. Damn you. So much chasing. Okay, run away. Oh, it's focused in on him. Gonna have to. Okay. I am so far away from the battle. Ooh. Need some of that. Ow. Oh, that's not good. Stay still. Really didn't like that. Come on. Oh, 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 oh. Ooh, I am screwed. Have I got any? Yep, I have noticed that too. I'm just trying to keep alive. Ah, Madagal. Ooh. Okay. Okay, let's have some of that. You take it, you probably got the better physical weapon. I'm gonna recharge you. Ooh, saw that coming. Oh, that's quite a scream. That's quite a yell. Okay. What the hell was that? Charge you up again. Ooh. Okay. Run past. Do this. wait to be able to do this. Ow. Screw that, let's heal. Oh, that's bad. It is not happy with me. Oh, that's why. Okay, back over to this. Ow, that was my bad. Okay. Who's that going for? Him, okay. Jesus, all the way over there. You know how much effort it is to get over there? Oh, I should have rolled back. Who are you targeting? I think no, he's not quite dead. But about that. It's gonna be more better to have this. By the power of Grayskull. That is just bad rolls on my side. Holy cow. Okay, definitely weak to fire. Makes me kind of wish I had a faith build. Who's it going for? Probably them. God damn you. Okay, let's get out. Okay, let's charge this up. Oh, come on. This person's good. Ooh.
Hey!
Whew. That's it. I cannot thank that player enough in regards to what they did for me. What are you? Summon Rani. But yeah, I've had long time to think about, you know, this moment. How am I going to finish this game? Well, first off, I want to get into something a little bit more what I've been playing as. So there we go, that's all that done. Let's get rid of that blue bar so we don't have any interruptions. Weirdly enough, my actual first plan... Oh, can I... Yes, I can. Whoa, you can actually port away if you wanted. My first idea was actually to not interact with this thing. Kind of in defiance of the game, which is, you know, we've basically gone through and wrecked most of the nasty stuff that inhabits this world. So it would kind of be cool just to, like, now everything's dead, just walk away. Because I believe as the Erd tree is now burning, an semblance of death has been reinstated, but in that respect it can't be right because I'm still going and I'm a tarnished. So with that in mind, I think I am going to be going for one of the endings, and it is an ending that I have access to. See, using the mending rune of Death Prince basically means that what I'm doing is I'm restoring the world to natural order. So death is reinstated, no more immortals, no more tarnished. The normal life cycle is established. And for me, I think that's kind of a good outcome, because anything else will basically just perpetuate the cycle. For me, this one makes sense because it changes the cycle, because you can't really have immortals. So with that in mind, let's do this.
The fallen leaves tell a story of how a tarnished became Elden Lord. In our home, across the fog, the lands between. Our seed will look back upon us and recall the age of the Duskborn.
And that was Elden Ring. Interesting game. But what do I think on it? Because that's what this bit is all about. It's an evolution in regards to what FromSoft has done before, trying to make a expansive world, and I do think that they have actually made an expansive world. You do have these moments in the game where you do fill in the map and you think, oh, that's good. And then you come across an entire new section. And it does this 3 or 4 times to create effect. And the areas contained within are unique. They have their own theme. And they work well. And I've also done some digging around in regards to this game, and I can tell you that the actual game isn't entirely handmade. The actual continent that we're on is procedurally generated, and then they went in and then modified it and handcrafted, like what you call the legacy dungeons, like the castles and so forth. And that's all handcrafted. So it's interesting that they went that route. I can understand why, because it would be a big undertaking to make a entire continent, because I think this is bigger than any previous game that FromSoft has delivered. But, and this is a big but for me, the enemy variety. That is not as good. You are definitely... It's a twofold problem. If you look at the other games, they push in similar direction. There's one game where they kind of push slightly different, but that's more down to the mechanics of the game, which is Sekiro. Because they give you an extra way to be able to deal with incoming attacks, let's call it. And on that aspect, these games are going to have a limitation, because no matter what you come up against, you've only got 3 options. Block, parry, roll. Basically, block the damage, mitigate the damage, and try and avoid the damage. With Sekiro, they went in a new direction, whereby there was a more of an emphasis on parry. Yes, in this game you've got the hold the shield and then tap R2 just at the point at which hits the shield, which isn't a true parry, because a true parry will put the enemy into a vulnerable state. And with Sekiro, you can use the parry a lot, both offensively and defensively. And this kind of comes back when I talk about the bosses. But because of that, you're basically faced with variations of the same sort of creature, just different sizes, and you can definitely see that the animations have been taken from other games and transplanted onto other creatures. Again, time-saving measure, I reckon. But it also means that, veterans of the series will be able to identify them and just have to modify their reflexes, in theory, a little bit to cope with the enemies. And the bosses, the game boasts 150 bosses. I've done a fair few. I wouldn't like to calculate how many of the bosses I've actually done. And even though it boasts that many, there is not that many unique encounters. Because of the way that they decided to implement the cave, tombs, and graves system, you can actually encounter bosses out of sequence. There's a few bosses that I fought in those sort of situations before I actually fought the actual boss situation. And they also do a lot of repetition on bosses, which I can understand you do for a little bit, because it'll let the player understand how much that they've come, because that boss at one point may have been a challenge to them. But take the deformed rollabout dragon worm thing. that is used so many times, and it's just a variation on sort of its hit points, its damage, and its abilities. That's it. But you probably have to fight that thing 20 times at least. Wow, my talking is going so long that we're actually near the end of the credits. I wasn't expecting that. That's one of the problems with the bosses. There is actually another problem, but it's with a couple of other bosses. Begin Journey 2. If you do not wish to start over, you can choose to Journey 2. We'll go now for now. And there we are, the round table. Before I continue on what I think about the bosses, I want to see what this remembrance gets me. So, the hammer and the sacred great sword, both faith type things. Doesn't surprise me because they're probably holy in nature. Head over here. Level up. Oh, that's a lot of points. And this is going to be a waste of an item, but I will prefer to do it. Because I like the idea of rounding off a lot of my stats on multiples of 5, ignoring faith. But yeah, that makes me happy, and we can put that one away to add to the collection. So these are the unique bosses. So that technically you fight twice. The natural born. I don't even remember what one that was. Lynch Dragon. Again, you fight so many dragons in this. Fire Giant, unique. Can remember that. Unique battlefield. Unique situation. Can't believe how quick I killed it. Remembrance of the Grafted. So that would have been Godric the second time. Again, memorable. Renala, memorable. Blasphemous, oh yeah, that's rememberable. Radagon, rememberable. Omen King, yeah. Bloodlord, yeah. That's definitely going to be something to remember. The Dragon Lord, yep, because I went to try and undo my frenzied flame thing. Poraloo, that's your WWE wrestler with the heart of a tiger. The Black Blade, and the Rock Goddess. But yes, it's... The problem that I've got with a few of the bosses is it feels like that a few of them were designed with the same sort of idea as a Sekiro boss. For instance, if you take Marika, the bladed one, which I had a few troubles with, if you look at the way the attacks work, or And you can look at it in the same vein as the creature that can disappear in and out the ground, that has multiple arms and attacks quickly. Those sort of bosses, with the quick flurry of attacks, is something that you would definitely find in Sekiro, because with Sekiro you can actually use the parry button to deflect the hits. So instead of trying to block all those hits and it failing and you take damage, or you try and roll out the way and it tracks you and follows you, you have this third option, which is to try and to parry the hits. And you don't have that option in this game, and it definitely feels like a few of the bosses may have been leftovers from Sekiro that they tried to rework into this game. FromSoft does have a habit of using abandoned content in other games, so it is entirely possible that that is the case with the enemies that have very fast attack rates and come at you, that they was designed initially for a proper parry system that you find in Sekiro. The other thing about the bosses that I don't get on with is the input reading. There are definite times in boss encounters, and I've said it during the game, that you've just had like a exchange of blows. I've pulled away, it's at distance, and as soon it looks like it's not doing anything, but as soon as you touch that heal flask button, it automatically queues up on the boss a move that will hit you before the heal has finished. Which is very frustrating. I mean, the tracking of attacks, that's kind of a cliche probably of the FromSoft games, so I will let that go. But the input reading definitely does not make the fights feel fair, in my opinion. The other situation that you've got is there are situations where you cannot create a great offensive. Like in the last fight, the Elden Beast thing would constantly move to the other side of the battlefield, and you've got to get from point A to point B. Now, it makes sense if you had Torrent there to actually help you, but if you've noticed in the summoning system, they don't let you summon Torrent when you have a encounter a summonable person with you. So they probably think there was a risk that it could actually break the balance of the game, having you and your summoning pair to be able to ride on Torrent. And thematically, it kind of would make sense to have Torrent at the end, because it's one of the things that you're given very early on in the game, and it's meant to be the indicator that you're the one who's going to change, and yet Torrent lays abandoned at the end of the game, which is a missed opportunity in my opinion. And it would make the traversal in that last battle much more easier for the player to be able to deal with that fight, because the only thing you can do is try and run toward the boss and get to it to do a couple of hits and hope it doesn't move before you get there, which is kind of the problem that I was encountering and you end up chasing the thing around the arena, which isn't really conducive to fun and exciting gameplay and rewarding. If anything, it just gives you this bit of frustration, the fact that you want to get the game done, but yet the boss is constantly running away. The last thing that I want to talk about, and this applies to both bosses and also normal mobs, is I don't think it's fair that enemies and bosses don't have the same restriction as the player. We have to manage a stamina bar, we have to manage a mana pool, we have to manage our healing flasks. The enemies do not. Yes, you get invasions that will top themselves up, but they have infinite FP. It's like they have infinite stamina to be able to constantly pull moves off at you. And to me, that isn't fair. To me, I always think a game is fair if you and the enemy are confined to the same rules, and there is a lot of instances that you can just point to and go, well, that boss doesn't have a stamina bar and that boss doesn't have an FP bar, and most of the bosses conform to that issue. I run out of arrows, but the enemies do not. It's little things like that that I would like to have balanced. So yeah, interesting. This is the first FromSoft Souls-like, Soulsborne, whatever you want to call it, that I have technically beaten legitimately. I know I've got Sekiro on my channel, but Sekiro I found too hard and ended up completing about half the game with a game trainer, so I don't really see myself as having really beat that game. It's just outside of my skill level, and that's one thing that I find interesting about Elden Ring. In regards to character makeup, how you can evolve your character through the game, it's very good. It's very good if you do not pigeonhole yourself into just one thing. Like, don't decide to one Let's Player that I follow, he decided to literally go for the biggest type of club that he could find all the way through the game. And then once you get to an area that he knew that another bigger club was, he would transfer to that club. And by setting himself in concrete in regards to his build, it meant that his difficulty was all over the place. There are fights that he did that he just walked in, bashed them, walked out again, and I had difficulty with. And there are fights that I've walked into and bashed and walked out, and this person's had difficulty with those fights. And it's more specifically down to the way that he's locked himself into one build. I myself, through this playthrough, have tried to maintain a kind of versatile build. So I can do melee, I can do magic, I can do ranged. Heck, if at a push, I can even go over to Rivers of Blood and do not a great bleed setup, but I have that option available. And that's the key that I think is for getting an enjoyable experience out of Elden Ring, and that's to switch up, to try and make something that's not set in concrete but is versatile, and that's the challenge that I enjoyed. I would recommend Elden Ring to people to play. To me, I think it's a interesting introduction into the Soul series. There's a streamer that I watch on a regular basis, and I think Elden Ring was his first real getting his teeth into like a Souls type game, and he's gone from that and he's gone through Dark Souls now and working his way through Dark Souls 2, and I believe that he's enjoying it. But this is a great avenue to try, and if you're a Souls player and you've got a friend who you want to try and get into the Souls series, then I would say this is a game that I'd recommend to them to try, because it's a lot softer to be able to get in. You're not confined to the tight corridors. If you get stuck, you can pull out of what you're doing and go to a different part of the map. It's the open world helps in that respect, but the open world also can break the game, because if you, like with what I did, do a heavy exploration series, then what you end up doing is pretty much most of the content that you can find, and you end up finding yourself in a situation where you can be overpowered for the next bit that you're doing, and it's not your own fault for doing it. You've just been poking into every nook and cranny that you can get, and I've been lucky that I haven't lost that much in the way of runes in this game, and I only really started losing runes to fights towards the end of the game, but I always tried to make sure that when I was going into a fight I didn't have a massive amount, so it wasn't a worry to me. So yeah, Elden Ring is an interesting game. A lot of people are citing it as like the best game FromSoft has done, and I can see why they think that. Do I agree with that? I doubt it, because it's not as tight experience in my experience as the other games that I've played. It's certainly nice to have actually beaten one of these. I now got to start thinking about what I'm going to be replacing this series with, and deal with the fact that I've got 7 streams worth of stuff to convert, So that's going to be fun, which means my YouTube, by the point that this comes out on YouTube, this bit that I'm now talking about, it's probably going to be in about a month and a half to 2 months away to when this actually airs, which is pretty frightening. And if you're listening to this, I hope I've gone on to other great stuff, and those would have already probably started and finished by the time that you get to see this. I kinda hope that the games industry take away from this game the right lessons. A lot of industry people are surprised that this game has done so well, and they're looking to it as an example of potentially how to do an open world right. I hope that they don't copy it verbatim. Otherwise, the wrong lessons will be learned. You don't need things on your map all the time as markers telling you where you gotta go. You can leave that bit of intuition in regards to where the player needs to go on the player. One of the things that I'd love to see FromSoft introduce into these sort of games is just an extra tab to let you know that you've started a quest. Not tell you where to go, but a summary of the conversation and the quest. That summary changes and updates as you progress a storyline. Because in a world this large, it's so easy to lose an NPC in that. And I think a lot of people didn't finish quest lines purely because they'd started the quest, the NPC disappeared, and then time passed and they couldn't remember what the clue was. So I hope that something like that gets introduced. But I do worry that other games will try and copy this format, and you'll run into the same problem of enemy variety, repetition of bosses, kind of an artificial difficulty. But yeah, I think that's what I think of Elden Ring. There's a lot of good in it, but there's also room for improvement. And a lot of the reasons for the room for improvement is a lot of the reasons why I haven't tried to beat other games in the Soul series. Because the same trends in regards to a fair fight, whereby you've got limited stamina and limited FP mana, or whatever you want to call it, in through the games, it goes backwards through the series. So if you go into a magical boss, they are never going to run out of mana. If you go into a quick hard hitting boss, they are never really going to stop and pause and have to recover their stamina. So it is something that's been in the series from start, and I kind of hope that one of these days they'll release a game where you do have that slightly more tactical option of, if you can get past the Fae, like with a mana boss, it would be outlasting their magic reserve. And then once that's done, then you can clean up. Yes, it's a cheap, nasty way of doing it, but at least the option's on the table. The way it is at the moment, that option isn't on the table. So there's one more thing that I will need to talk about, and that is the actual port of Elden Ring. It definitely feels like FromSoft has a philosophy of resorting back to the old trends of doing a port for PC that you kind of saw in the era of the PS3 days. If you go into the options, the graphics options don't really explain what they do. The other thing that I've noticed is the graphics options are not consistent. If you actually look through all the graphics options, there is only one constant setting for the game, which is high. There is lots of mediums missing, lots of lows and lots of maximums. So it makes me actually think that the game was built around the idea of the highest preset, and then they implemented ideas to try and adjust the graphics, and I'm not entirely convinced that this methodology has worked. The game isn't optimized. The reason I say this is you can run into issues whereby you don't hit your FPS cap, but your GPU isn't at 100%, which normally means the software is lagging behind the actual hardware and not using the hardware properly. Also, I obviously ran into issues in regards to stuttering with the game, including the recent recordings. And it is something that hasn't gone away. When Elden Ring was being taunted for being released, they said that there is a ray tracing update on the way, and it kind of frightens me that the game is in the state that it is in, and you've got something like that on the horizon, because all the updates they do seem to be more focused on balancing the game rather than actually trying to sort out issues. I've regularly ran into input problems whereby it's not picking up a controller button, and it's the only game I have that actually has this issue. Accessibility wise, again, it's very sparse. There's no accommodation for people with sight problems or hearing problems, and I personally, I have a dexterity problem due to a long-term degenerative disease that I have in my neck that affects my upper body and pretty much will only get worse as time gets on. And with that said, what we basically see is these games are catered around the idea of perfect input, and it's something that I cannot achieve. I wish there was something akin to, like with Rock Band, you had a latency editor in sorry about that. You had a latency editor in the settings, so you could match the picture with the audio and slide them about to get them perfectly in sync. I don't see why with games like this, where key button presses or games with QTEs, don't do some sort of reaction test to actually see how fast a reaction a player has, and then basically use that figure to either increase or decrease the windows that are in the game. Coding wise, it's very simple to implement, and it would make the games more accessible to people with problems with their hand-eye coordination, or in my instance, a problem that's going to deteriorate over time. This is why I can't really think about doing any of this other Soul games. It's a mixed bag of a game. Some elements are great, but there's just other failings that are just as big. It is a shame.